That's going. And this is going. And
we did it.
Welcome to our podcast, guys. Welcome to the podcast.
Zoe, I want to say, first and foremost, that you killed it last week.
Thank you.
Thank you for picking up the ball and the baton and hitting the ball with a baton out of the park and running with it.
Out of the park.
You hit it out of the park. As you know, by our new format that we stick to every week, no matter what, we answered questions on the podcast.
Not no matter what. We didn't do it last week.
We didn't do it last week, but because of that, we're doing nonstop questions.
But I feel like we had such a fun podcast last week.
Totally had a fun conversation, and it was nice because we hadn't sat down for a couple weeks. Now's my favorite time of the podcast where Zoya finds a stray face hair on her microphone and decides what to do with it. And it's always make a face and dispose of it.
Because I know it's not coming from my own face.
Yeah.
And I know it's a certain other gentleman's stuff. And it kind of grosses me out.
Anyone with face hair who isn't you, and now the face hair is super close to your mouth, that's a displeasing feeling. Mm-hmm. Let's think of a pleasing feeling. Pouring marmalade onto pancakes. Pouring syrup on pancakes is pleasing.
Taking a hot shower on a cold day.
Taking a hot shower on a cold day.
Pleasing.
But tucking yourself into a blanket on a cold day. Pleasing.
Putting on warm socks out of the dryer.
Putting on socks out of the dryer is a great one. Putting on warm jeans out of the dryer. Having someone else's face hair in your mouth.
Not pleasing.
Not pleasing.
Not pleasing.
Not kind of a displeasing feeling.
Very displeasing.
Speaking of pleasing, we'd like to answer some of your questions this week.
Wait, can I tell a funny story before we start that?
I'm actually busy.
Okay.
First question.
So,
no, what is
it? So I don't think we touched on the actual wedding last week.
Oh.
And we had such a great time. Mike did such a great job. And
thank you.
You looked so handsome. And I just thank you for all that you do. And I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. You also did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
You're not only a great, I was going to say first lady. That's not it. Bridesmaid of honor.
Main bitch?
Matron.
No.
Main bitch of honor.
Yes.
And you did a great job with your duties during that. And you also do a great job just as a friend.
Thank you.
And somebody even complimented you on how much of a great friend you are by just observing you from the outside.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And they don't need or want anything from you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how great of a friend you have to be outwardly for a stranger who's not involved in any of it to come out of their way to say you're a great friend?
It was very sweet and it was very nice, and her aunt was very complimentary.
Yes.
And asked me if I was for hire.
Yeah, best friend for hire.
Maid of honor for hire.
Yeah.
She's like, I've never seen anything quite like it. And it was very sweet, but that's not the story I wanted to tell. So I ended up meeting up with Jackie and Morgan a couple days prior. Again?
No, I'm just
Dude,
kidding.
for real? Okay. So I ended up meeting up. We flew in on a Tuesday. Wednesday, I ended up meeting up with Jackie and Morgan for dinner. I met them at their house. I had gone and picked up a bunch of stuff on Tuesday. And we just we did a lot, right? So I meet them up, and Morgan's dad is sick. So there was feelings and all kinds of things were happening. And the kids next door, they're kind of motherfuckers that live next to them. And they have like shitty neighbors on either side.
Sure.
And
sometimes you do.
The kids had friends over, and now they're anywhere from I think one's like 9 or 10, the other one's like 14, 15, maybe 16, and they're pieces of shit, and they had their piece of shit friends over.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting there watching them do shitty things and be shitty people. And all of the
You
sudden,
watched all this happen?
I watched all of this happen.
Yeah.
So,
And let's not pretend just because kids are kids that they're not pieces of shit.
oh no, they're fucking absolute pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching them. They started to, they had a basketball, a blue basketball, and a sledgehammer. And they started hitting the basketball with the sledgehammer, and it smashed into their chairs that they have outside, their lawn chairs. They're like these like cute little like Adirondacks chairs that they have outside.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Hitting a basketball with a sledgehammer is a terrible idea.
Terrible. So after the third time it hit the house, Morgan grabs the ball because it rolled into their yard.
Yeah.
And they have like a weird, like the property line is really weird. So their front lawn is like really, really wide. And then it kind of triangles off.
Sure.
And so the friend hit the ball into the yard for the last time, and Morgan had it, right?
Yeah.
Tensions are high. There's a lot going on. A couple days before the wedding, Morgan's had it. And I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So
Think about all the things that you've done to your neighbors throughout the years, and you're like, oh, that was just mean Mr. McGregor's house or whatever.
Yeah.
When your ball went over into his lawn for the 1,000th time
Yeah.
that he's like trying to reseed or something. There's always a reason.
So Morgan grabs the ball and he's like, why don't you guys go play out in the backyard? And he was like, I'm not playing in the backyard. I'm not fucking playing in the backyard. And Jackie's walking Luna, their dog. And he's like, no, man. He's like, that's my fucking lawn. Why don't you go? You've hit the house several times with that. Stop doing it. Like, stop. Just fucking stop. He's not swearing at them. Obviously, I don't know how to not swear.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, but I am a truck driver.
Dude, seeing you on TV would be like actual TV.
Oh, it would never. It would just be bleep, 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 bleep,
Yeah.
bleep, 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 bleep.
That's them introducing you.
Bleep,
You're
bleep,
just
bleep.
walking
This is
on.
Zoja fucking Falzone. Bleep, 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 bleep. So the kids start talking shit, and Jackie's got the dog, and the little like 8, 9, 10-year-old starts piping up. And she goes, what'd you say, little mama? And I died. It was the funniest thing. And of course, Jackie is she's so funny.
Yeah.
And anybody that has had the chance to meet her, as she was in New York with us a few times, she comes to a lot of the shows. And anytime she's here, she tries to catch a show. And she's one of my favorite people. Between her and Mary, they're both of my best friends are just the funniest, most greatest people ever.
Very East Coast people.
Yeah, they're great. So Little Mama, calling an 8-year-old Little Mama
Little
was
Mama
my
or Big
favorite.
Mama?
Big Mama.
Big Mama.
Big Mama.
That's the one. Dude, sometimes when you're a little shit, you will remain a little shit for the rest of your natural life if you never get checked.
Yes.
And we don't get to choose. Sometimes we're lucky enough to have parents who check us. Most of the time, you get checked at school by some bigger kid or some kid who's just a little bit quicker than you in one way or another.
It was great.
Getting checked by a grown-up stranger is quite possibly one of the biggest, fastest ways to learn a lesson.
Yeah. They immediately went over into the driveway.
Are you hearing this show
Yeah.
in your... Okay, that's all that matters.
They went
to
into
me.
the driveway, and then, they started right there. Go, put that in. Let me help you. You start.
Was it just not all the way in?
Maybe.
There it goes. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And that, you guys, has been our show.
I did
Just
that.
kidding.
And that was my fault, and I did that. Yes, so they're wonderful and so important to... And that's the thing. It's not your responsibility to check that kid.
Yeah, no.
But the kid has to get checked.
Yeah.
Because the kid is... You can't just do whatever you want.
No.
At no matter what age. As you get older, you could do a lot more of whatever you want. But if it involves ruining somebody else's day or disrespecting someone in some way, you get checked.
Dude, let me tell you something. My mom would have fucking killed us if we ever talk back to the neighbors.
Yeah.
We were never
Supposed to
allowed.
respect adults, dude. And if you don't respect your parents, and if that was always the case, it's like the kids who had kind of a shitty time at home were the ones to disrespect other like grown-ups and parents. When your parents let you like do whatever, I'll never understand that. Ever.
Yeah.
Thank God. If you think that anybody is a cool adult, it's probably because their parents didn't just let them do whatever.
100%.
Even if sometimes, not all parents are perfect.
No.
By far.
Yeah.
Common sense statement.
Yeah.
But even if you're a shitty parent and you don't let your kid run amok and do whatever they want, that's you have to do that.
Yeah.
If you put and I'm just drawing from memory here, penis in a guy, put your penis into a woman and you poop a baby, it's your responsibility to not let that kid fucking do whatever it wants forever.
Yeah.
You have to teach that kid that you can't do that.
Yes.
That's your job.
Yes, 100%.
So that they don't get checked by strangers.
Yes.
Who wants their kid to get checked by a stranger?
No, nobody.
No one. But don't you pay people to do that by sending them to the school system?
Yes.
I got checked by thousands of teachers.
Oh.
Every year I would do something that would get me checked by a teacher, by a summer camp counselor, by the cops, by security, Fairfield University security, by the dean of Fairfield University, there was a grown-up there, stranger, to check me every step of the way.
And thank you.
And thank the community that raised me.
Yes. It does. It takes a village, you guys.
You know who checks you the least?
Who?
Your grandparents.
I know. Although my grandmother
was a bitch, right?
No, excuse me.
You tell me about random.
No.
Listen, I'm just trying to put pieces together.
Excuse me. I'll fucking kill you.
I know that you have, sometimes I can't keep track, but you have relatives that are not good. And you tell me, and I don't know names.
Yeah.
So you were just like, and on this person's side was bad.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to just keep all this information.
Yeah, but anytime I talk about Nonna in her old age has gotten mean.
I didn't think you were talking about Nonna.
Yeah.
Like I would ever say anything cross about
no.
Nonna.
No, I know you wouldn't. But
damn, do I wish I can go back in time and just not even speak for a second.
She's gotten mean in her old age, and I find it hilarious. I mean, she just turned 88.
Yeah.
So she has a license to say whatever the fuck she wants.
You called her small, and she said, "That's God made me that way."
Yeah.
How was your grandmother on the other side of your family?
She was awful.
And I knew it.
Yeah.
Thank God I had an out.
She was
there.
awful. Yeah. She was terrible.
And you just said my grandmother, right?
But I automatically assume that you know that I'm talking about Nonna.
No.
Yeah. I don't really talk about my dad's side ever.
Unless you're
pissed off.
Yes. So there was a part of me that was not completely out of line.
That's fair.
And I would hear those stories recently because we just went home, and that's when a lot of the family stories come out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Backtrack of the century. Known as God's gift to this earth.
She really is. She
takes no bullshit.
She's a cherubic angel sent from
She makes me want to learn Albanian.
Yeah.
And I never will.
Great.
These are the questions we have for this week's episode. I'm going to do the one that I thought of. We'll do a couple of them.
Okay.
We normally do one, but since we did none last week, we'll do a couple.
Okay.
I'm going to read you the one first that I remember that I thought of answer almost instantly for.
Okay.
And when you think of an answer almost instantly, it's because that's a gut instinct. Mm-hmm. And more often than not, your gut instinct is what you go with. It's when you think about it too much where you really fuck yourself in the face.
It's because most of the time it's correct. So,
And I'm going to read these exactly like I transcribed them.
Wrong. You guys, it's going to be wrong.
Not wrong because of transcribing. Wrong because of typos in the original question.
I love this. I love this.
My girlfriends say that my compliments sound sarcastic and too positive. What do? Let me tell you what I thought of instantly. I don't know these people. But if somebody says to me, somebody who I'm in a romantic relationship says, your compliments sound sarcastic and too positive, you have to do one of two things. Maybe both if you want to double down.
Okay.
One, check your tone.
Okay.
Who's the problem? Check your tone and be honest. If you're one of those people who have a hard time expressing your emotions, if it's weird for you to say good shit about your friends because you weren't raised like that, or it makes you feel weird, or you think saying nice things about your friends is gay, you need to say what you feel. If you have this defense mechanism for your own feelings that you need to be over the top whenever you give compliments, you need to check your tone.
Yes.
If that's not the case, you need to help your girl get some confidence.
Yes.
Because only one of those two things is happening.
Yes. I think that it might be the partner. What are you looking for?
Everything?
Yes. I think it might be the partner not being able to take a compliment.
That's the first thing I thought, but I also wanted to see both sides just in case.
Sure.
Because I've heard the people who, it's way less frequent. But I've heard people who, being genuine and being vulnerable makes them a little uncomfortable to the point where they have to do a voice or put on a song and dance. Because they can't just say, me and you are very well versed at being like, you're beautiful, you're a fucking good partner, you pick up the slack, and I appreciate you so much.
That sounds sarcastic to me.
Well, eat a dick, because
Okay.
I really meant it. And that's not on me. Because I said all those things and I meant it, and because of how you took it, that is a good example of that's on you.
Yes. 100%. It did take me a long time to learn how to take a compliment.
Also a difficult thing.
Yes. It's not an easy thing for a lot of people to be able to take a compliment and actually say thank you genuinely, right?
That shows you how much weight is put on the conversation. Because it's not easy to take a compliment.
Right.
And it's not easy for some people to be vulnerable and in touch with their feelings enough to give a genuine compliment.
Right.
So if somebody's doing that, you got to come halfway and not totally deflect the compliment.
Right. So for years I'd be like, oh, that's sweet.
Or you
whatever.
say something like
No.
detrimental to yourself.
Yeah. Like, oh, well, 20 minutes ago, I looked like a fucking trash bag.
Yeah. Just say thank you, dog.
Right. And there's a lot of times where, I'll say something to, and I think it's a learned thing, right?
Yeah.
Not to throw my mom under the bus, but it's like.
How dare you? Your mom is a wonderful woman.
She is. She's.
So is your grandmother on your mom's
incredibly
side.
wonderful and beautiful and funny and smart. And I love my mom to death.
Yes.
But
She's
even
gonna
my
hate you.
mom, it would be like, Mom, you look so beautiful today. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, just say thank you. That's
Yeah.
it. Like, just say thank you.
Yeah.
So I think it is like definitely like a learned thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, thank you.
Dude, I have a big time problem with that. I remember when I first started stand-up, imposter syndrome through the roof.
Yeah.
So I had a very hard time taking compliments, and I would immediately say, now I kind of do it to be funny, but if somebody was like, "Oh, great job," I would have been like, "Well, I bombed yesterday," or like, "You should have seen me again 5 minutes ago," or whatever.
Right.
I would 100% do that all the time. I did it with music for a very, very long time. Even if you tell me now that you liked early pieces of my music, I'll be like, I'll disagree with you so vehemently. And I'll be like, well, you're not very good at liking music. Or something along those lines. But it's like you got to meet somebody halfway when they're being vulnerable and open with you.
Yeah.
If you're going to put yourself on the line, to put yourself in kind of a vulnerable spot, that's something. And that you don't, that doesn't open you up to, like, you don't deserve anything from that. But there should be a recognition of thank you for being open.
Yeah.
In the other, like, it shouldn't be your ability to be open shouldn't be dismissed.
Yeah. It's funny going back to people like liking your music and whatever, but people have liked butt rock forever.
It wasn't butt rock.
No, I'm not saying that yours is butt rock, but if you think that people have bad taste in music, like you said, it's not okay. This is not how I compare yes.
Mike Falzone and the Peppermint Clip to butt rock.
You know who loves butt rock?
Your mom.
Your boy, Rob Devereux.
Is that right?
Yeah. I always say his last name wrong, but I'm going to say it wrong.
Rob Devereux.
What else you got?
Is he a Creed guy?
I don't know. Should we ask?
There's some butt rock that I'll always like. Like, I don't know. I consider butt rock what happened after the 90s.
Okay.
Like, the 90s had Pearl Jam, which was a band like Pearl Jam. Mm-hmm. Like, they created that, right? And then bands like Stone Temple Pilots and Dude and stuff like that. And then just trying to finish up this thought. And then was that Interstate something? I fucking love that song.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to kill myself.
Go.
So the rock that came after that, like the early 2000s, like Creed and like
System of a Down.
No, System of a Down's its own thing too. That's not butt rock either. There are like, dude, like a lot of, if you listen to early to mid 2000s wrestling theme music in the WWE, a lot of that is like factory butt rock. There were the bands that evolved from grunge, and then it started to be, once they hit big, there was like a subset of like less than carbon copies of like doing imitation of this thing. It happens every time something blows up, is there's 1,000 things that copy it and try to make money riding its coattails.
Yeah.
That's what I consider butt rock.
Can we
My friend Bill
and Twistle
loves all butt rock.
I love him.
He also loves Journey.
Yes.
And that's great.
Yeah.
It's good to have a mix in there.
Yeah.
But he openly loves butt rock.
I love that. I love that for him. Hold on. Can I call Rob and ask him what butt rock he likes? What's his picture?
Yeah, he's a cute boy.
Cute. He is
Tell him
so
to open
cute.
his eyes. I like Creed when they first came out. I'm going to be totally honest with you. They had this song called One, and it was like the second MP3 I ever downloaded. I can remember my first 2 or 3 MP3s. You Make Me Complete. No, my own.
Rob?
Hey, what's up?
Welcome to our podcast.
Oh, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
Hi,
So I wanted to ask you, do you like Creed?
do I like Creed? No, Creed is always one of those bands I heard about, but I never actually listened to.
What's your favorite butt rock band?
Butt rock?
Yeah, don't you love butt rock?
What's butt rock?
See? This dude doesn't even know.
Yes, he does
Who
know.
threw Rob under the bus
You
and
know
said
who
Rob?
threw Rob under the bus.
Well, Lexi lives under the bus because she's 1'7". Rob?
I like Coheed. That's who
No, Coheed's not butt rock. Somebody, probably somebody tall, said you said that you love butt rock. So now Zoya has this information in her head that you love butt rock. So she was going to call you and ask you what your favorite butt rock bands are.
I don't know. Does Linkin Park count? I feel like these days they're considered butt rock.
I think so. Now looking back, like sad boy rock.
Yeah.
When I think of butt rock, I think of like early to mid 2000s bands
Yeah.
Okay.
that sang from the very top of their throat through their nose.
That's very specific.
Yes. We're on like that. But so did you hear what Zoya just did?
What'd she do?
She started singing Stone Temple Pilots, which I do not believe to be butt rock.
I don't know. Stone Temple Pilots might be butt rock.
It sounds like butt rock because they're 90s alternative rock, and then everyone who copied them worse is butt rock.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I
fair.
love that song though.
You're goddamn right, and you're here,
I
Zoe.
think like Stain.
Black
Stained is
Hole
butt rock.
Sun.
In
Won't you
my
come?
opinion. Now you're thinking Soundgarden, which is kind of the
sounds-
transition between.
Yeah.
Because Soundgarden was a great band, but they were also late 90s with all those other Stone
Right.
Temple Pilots and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And Chris Cornell, God rest his soul, would be very upset with you saying that he was butt rock.
Yeah.
He definitely would. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, Rob,
right.
I'm here to rescue you from underneath the bus.
Rob, I love you. Thank you for answering and thank you for being part of this week's podcast.
Of course. Anytime. I love you both.
You
I
should
love
start
you.
your own podcast called Thank You for Being Part of This Week's Podcast.
Also, I can't wait to see you guys soon.
Yeah, we just planned a bunch of it last night, so looking forward to it.
That's
love this.
Let's go see a concert. Stone Temple Pilots are in town.
Butt rock. Only butt rock.
I'll talk to you soon, Rob.
Okay, so
How dare you? Second
What's our
question.
next question?
Oh, this is I would direct this towards you because we've talked about this recently.
Okay.
Do you believe in the one or just making a good relationship work with someone you love?
What are you looking for, babe?
That's how I did it as a bit.
I believe that you can have several the ones, you know, and I think that it's in a time, depending on what time of your life you meet someone, right?
Yeah, like if you're widowed.
If you're widowed, if, you know, like we talked about a relationship that you had and you got broken up with and you thought that that was the one
Absolutely.
forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh. You only know what you think you know.
Yeah. I believe in several. When I said this to Violta and Mike in the car, because I was talking about the speech that I was trying to write, which I never ended up writing for that wedding.
Can I make a little correction on what I just said?
Yes.
You only know what you know. So a lot of times you don't even know what you think you know.
True.
Because you don't. You
Yes.
only know what you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were talking about the speech, the wedding speech.
So I was having a really hard time writing a speech, right? And I had said to Mike and my sister Violta, who did the makeup, who did an amazing job for the makeup.
She did.
She does really great at makeup, and I wish she would become a makeup artist. 'cause
She's a
she would
great
kill.
anesthetician.
No, makeup artist.
Thank you.
And I had said something along the lines of, you know, I feel like you can have several soulmates, you know, because I feel like Jackie and Mary are soulmates of mine.
Yeah.
And you guys like laughed so hard at me, but I was like, what? It's true. Like, I don't think that there's just one soulmate out there for people. I think that you have several because it's in different, and it doesn't have to be, in a romantic type of way.
Yeah.
I feel like soulmates come in all different relationships, and I think I was lucky enough to find 3 of mine.
Yeah.
I
only thought it was really funny because you were going to say it in a wedding speech.
I know.
On the day where you're supposed to be marrying your one true soulmate.
Yeah, but then I was going
to
to loop it in,
immediately be like, you could actually have several soulmates.
I did say in
just
the
in case this doesn't work out for you guys.
My speech was fucking awesome too.
It was, except for one part, it was good.
Do you guys want to hear it?
You really turned a lot of people off with one part.
Do you want me to play it up until that point?
The feedback that I got was that you really kind of ate balls at one part, but most of it was very good.
You guys, I can't wait to play some of the first, half a minute for you, because
individually everyone at the wedding came up to me and said you kind of blew it at one part, but everything else was a-okay.
Should I play it for them?
Do what you're gonna do. Sorry if that's hard to listen to.
About 14 years ago at a house party, and she was this little tiny little blonde thing sitting in the corner, and then all of a sudden
couldn't believe that she was blonde.
Remark, and I knew right then and there that we were soulmates.
Soulmates.
I have been so lucky to be able to be a part of your life, and you letting me in and being just one of the best friends that I could ever ask for. You are loyal, you are kind, you're beautiful, you're funny, much funnier than a lot of people I've ever met. Or married.
Bang.
So
boom, roasted.
And that's
boom,
kind of
roasted.
When and
roasted.
Everyone speech kind of went downhill after that. Dude, it was, I've seen a bunch of maid of honor speeches. Mm-hmm. That was the best.
Thank you.
Because you spoke from the heart, and it's so easy because you do love Jackie so much. And I've just seen so many people who care about each other so much overthink that and overwrite it. And it never comes out because no one is a professional writer who does that, And it's a hard position to put a regular person in to say in front of all of my friends and family, talk about,
It was funny because my sisters were like, just make Mike write it for you. And I was like, he said no.
No, because that's not real. That's not real.
No, you're right. And I'm glad that it happened the way it did. In this notebook alone, there's pages upon pages that are just like scribbles of like ideas and stuff and whatever. And it literally was consuming me because I'm so nervous around like crowds like that.
Yeah.
And I don't do well in front of crowds. Like here, it's different. It's me and you. And then like to think about the amount of people that actually listen to this podcast, it's always so flabbergasting to me to realize that people even care to listen to this or even like to listen to this. It's such like a weird thing for me when they're like, I love the podcast. And I'm always like, thanks. Like I don't know what to say really because
that's all you gotta say because that's genuine. And that's the reason why people like listening to you is because you're not put on. You're not like you don't have red light syndrome. You're not one person when the cameras start recording. You're not another person when the cameras stop recording. You're you all the time. And you might think that you didn't write a speech, but in writing all the drafts to the speech, you got out what you didn't feel comfortable to say and you said what felt the best. So you did write your speech, but it's like you wrote it on your heart,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's very cute.
Well,
What's the next question?
and we have another question. This is from Nana saying, why did Mike say those terrible things about me?
Why did you, Mike?
I would never.
Dude, the first thing my grandmother did was make me crepes. Sweet angel.
Yeah.
She literally, we got in from the airport. We took a red eye and we got in from the airport, and she goes, we don't have milk. And she sent my mom out at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. to
Yeah.
go get milk
Yeah.
so that she could make me crepes.
She's perfect.
They were gone that night.
I didn't have any.
I know.
I did have some break.
Breck that my mom made.
Your mom
It was
made it.
so good.
Oh boy. I was having what I would call severe stomach problems the day before.
Yeah.
Day
poor
before.
guy.
During that show, during
Yes.
the Connecticut Surrounded.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out one time.
Where's any music on? Tickets on sale now. I had severe stomach problems.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous because we had dinner at your mom's the next day with the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so nervous because I didn't know what I'd be able to keep, not down, but inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mike was pissing out his ass.
What do you call that? I didn't know. I didn't want to keep. I didn't know what I would push out.
Yeah.
No, it's like if you keep it down, you're trying not to throw up.
Right.
What's the keep it in? I was trying to keep it all in.
Along with his anus.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you for remembering.
Yeah, you're welcome. R.I.P.
I'll
Mike's
never
anus.
forget. Dude, but I was so nervous because I knew the food was going to be so good. And then Violta put so much of it on my plate. Like she gave me a big piece and I'm like, okay,
Here we go.
I'm not going to take something off my plate.
Right.
And she didn't know how I
Yeah.
was feeling.
Yeah.
But finished it all and could have gone back for seconds.
Yeah.
Was a little bit
Nervous. Yeah.
But so good.
It was so good.
So good. Anyway,
Yes.
we'll do one more.
Okay.
This one says, did you have any doubts before you got married? Hold on, there was another married one.
Is that not recording again?
It doesn't look like it. But there is space on the card. That's good. It's recording now.
Quit being a hoe ass hoe.
Oh man, is that going to be a mess later when I have to
Sorry.
send footage? Send Fujier.
Fougier.
Sorry, we'll figure it out.
Fougier. Were there any doubts?
We'll just do a short one and then I want to do one more. Let me
Okay.
cross out the ones that we've done.
Yes.
Zoe, you have any doubts before you... That's... All of dating is a doubt that you're going to get
yeah.
married.
I
From the
mean-
second you go out with the person for the first time or make out with the person for the first time or whatever, to the second you are... I'm going to say engaged, but that is... You know, because even engaged isn't being married. It's just promising that you're going to get married. So hopefully by the time you're engaged, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
But you're still in doubt because you're not married yet.
Yeah.
So all of that,
Yeah.
all of before married is doubt.
Yeah. I think that prior to getting married, there was doubt just because for me, I didn't know whether or not I wanted to stay here. Now, remember, we got engaged, 2 years after moving here?
Yeah.
2-3 years? Mm-hmm. And I was still in a very weird situation. And I hated it here.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for me to tell Mike, like, I want to go home and make him leave because I wasn't comfortable here. Like, there was no way that I was going to allow that to happen. But being the people that we are and the love that we have for each other, you work your ass off, right? And you work your ass off to make things work. Marriage and relationships are not easy. They're not an easy thing. Anybody that tells you that it should be cake and whatever, whatever, it's bullshit. It requires work.
Yeah.
And the day we got married, there was not a doubt in my mind that I didn't pick the most perfect person for myself.
I'm going to say, honestly, that from the minute we moved in together for the first time, that's when I knew that you were the one. I remember thinking in my mind that if we moved in together, I knew by that point in us knowing each other that I wanted to be with you for the long haul after that, starting when we moved in together. And I guess there's always that little bit of like, what if we can't coexist in the same space? But I never thought we wouldn't be able to. I never thought we were going to break up after we moved in together, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. No.
I had a lot of doubt before that, a lot. I entered the relationship based in doubt, which is how I almost fucked it up. Mm-hmm. But I was so dizzy from the last shit and then making myself stupid promises that I would never let myself get in a situation where I didn't see myself getting broken up with again. And so I started the relationship based in doubt. That's no fun.
Yeah, no.
No,
that's not fun.
No.
But yeah, a relationship is work, people.
Yeah.
It's work, and it's a lot of work.
Relationships are also a little gay sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're fucking hard, you know? It's frustrating at times, you know, and we have our shit sometimes. Not very often. I think my biggest thing is, you know, wanting to spend more time with you because we don't get enough time.
Yeah.
So
being home with you was very nice.
Yes.
And having these couple days before you go back to work was very nice.
Yeah.
And it's going to be shitty when you go back to work, but we're also getting into that mode again as we do. I feel like we've talked about this thousands of times. It's just kind of what happens with our life, and it's part of how we work together. It's like we bust our ass and we don't see each other at all, really. It's very limited. And then we get to go somewhere together, and then we're very thankful for that. And then we talk about getting back into the usual, which isn't our favorite.
No. But even when we go home, so there's like, we have to not be home in order to spend time together.
Say it again?
So when we go back to the East Coast, we stay with our parents, right?
Yeah.
You stay at your parents. I come over sometimes and stay the night or whatever.
When she climbs in through the window.
It's very funny. I don't know if I've told the story about your dad reluctantly giving me the house key.
Yeah.
But now I cherish.
You're just a friend who's a girl, according to my dad.
Yes. But we got home on a Tuesday morning. I didn't see Mike until Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had seen him all week.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, granted, we were both very busy and all of them, whatever. Yeah. But it was really funny the way that whole thing happened.
We go on, I wouldn't call it vacation. We go home together. We have to schedule time together. Still.
Right. Yeah. It's like, hey, what are your plans for today?
That's why we're going to be together forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
But it's because we don't see each other very much.
Yeah.
Same thing was told to my parents when they first started dating.
Yeah. Because they were both working like crazy too.
Yeah. They were working like cats and dogs.
Cats and dogs.
No, it's more about rain than anything else. We'll save the other questions for the next episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening.
As you guys know, you can always send questions into the Instagram, and Lex will get those to us. Again, thanks to everyone that listens. As you know, Mike has shows all the time. You can go on MikeFalzone.com and look for shows. And
my Instagram story is a great way to find out about random shows that pop up throughout the week. Gonna be some traveling soon. I'm waiting on tickets if they're not already out for Seattle.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
Come to Seattle.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go see my sister, not so much go to your show. But
Same. But I have someone who looks like me that sounds enough like me. We're teaching him. We have him in speech classes.
Great.
So he can deliver my jokes like me.
Yeah. His name is Mike Falzone.
His name is Mike Falzone.
But aren't you going to be in Palm Springs?
Yes.
This weekend?
Yes.
October 14th and 15th?
Probably.
Huh. I'll be there too. I took the weekend off. Poor Lex. Lex also does my booking for work.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I need this weekend off. And she was like, for real?
You know what Lex loves? Butt rock.
No, she doesn't.
Anyway, this was fun. Thank you so much for listening and watching.
As you know, patreon.com is a tipping and rewards website where you give us a little bit of your hard-on cash. Hard-on cash. Make it hard. Make it nice. Make it real nice.
What?
And our $10 group gets a shout out. And that goes a little something like this. Joseph Capricioso.
Make it hard. Make it nice. Make it real nice.
Shannon Haynes.
Make it hard.
DLD, Patrick Simpson, Ernesto, I missed this last week. Raja, Eliseus, Joe Turzan, Lewis and Odette, Lauren Chauncey. One time shout out to, I always say Lewis, but I think it is Luis, no? Luis? For always being so accommodating to Mike and I when we
Literally
need you.
accommodating.
Literally. Lauren Chauncey, Paul Gilliam, Steve Deargo, Chris McCarthy, Trevor the Werefishy, Joe Penn, Happy Birthday Starlight, JJ McToots, Rachel last name, Mike Genie, Alan Garcia, Connie Tryon, Isabella Sparkles, and Taro Baez, Frankie Matos Music. In our short years, we come long way. Chris Fernandez, Johnny Rosito, Handcrafted Neckwear, CCB, PB&J, Adman. This is fucking me up right now. I need to take this out. Emily Paget, Caleb Perkins. I hate you right now. Ow, it's stuck in my hair. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, there we go. Giant Tom Hanks, Lizzie Love, Gavin Welsh, Someone Tell Aaron, Jackie Hammond, Paige Junesen, a guy with long hair, Jiz Cronson.
Jiz Cronson?
Yes. Happy birthday, month Mike. Anna Valles, Benjamin Putz, Bleth Blush. It really fucked me up last week. Snuggle Pig H, Ryan Ashbrook, Christina Camille, Jesus Christ, Josh Jinston.
You come back here, Josh Jinston.
Michael Johnson, Kayla Johnston, Jules Run, Grant Levasseur, Chad Clark, Joe Finney, Heather Ashley, What is Cat, Katie Taylor, Shane Welsh, Evan Canoe, Milky Beans, Jess Enright, Lillian Carrillo, Magna Silva, Barrington Lloyd Lovett, Ben married for 1 year, Fuchs.
Congratulations.
Theodorus Carambelis, Janisha Tutton, Danny Sinclair, Jacob D. Bradford, Justine Beebestein, Just Josh, Sergeant Sparty, Ed Birch, Helen Ford, Luminos, Superfloss, Tatiana Clay, Danielle D. Verona, Sean Stone, Valerie York, Dev, Jesse Stillwell, Katie Lee G, Rob Devereaux. Thank you for answering my phone call. And I know you're working, so I know that's annoying. Don Go Chase in Waterfalls, Nestor De Leon III, Luis Hernandez, Alexander Legowski, Monique Wow. Monique Quistorf, Jamie Garner, Troy R., Cody Osalas, Felicia Shimbari, and Matthew J. Palka. You guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you and we thank you. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye.